Solstice Ceremony. I'm Becky, and I'm one of the team up who are bringing World Unity Week together for you as we're bringing together our global community in unity and peace and love. We're so grateful that you're here and that you found this live stream. And to everybody who's joining us in room 1 in our Zoom room, welcome. We're so grateful you're here. And if you want to join us in the Zoom room, you can. You can go to worldunityweek.org, where you'll find a schedule where you can see what is happening in room 1, as well as our other convergence rooms this week. So please join us live in the Zoom room. So we are really grateful to be honoring the solstice today and bringing everyone together as we honor the light and the darkness, the different aspects of this earth, as those of us in the northern hemisphere are bringing in the light, and in the southern hemisphere going into more of a darkness. So we're so grateful for this unity that we're sharing this space. And so thank you for joining us. We have a beautiful video that we're going to share. I'm going to cue that up for us, and I just want to tell you about it first. And so hang on. Grateful. Here it is. So I'm really incredibly honored to be able to share this special solstice message from the Kogi Mamos of the Sierra Nevada of Santa Marta, Colombia. The Kogi are one of the most isolated First Peoples nations, having only chosen to reveal themselves to the world for the first time in the 1980s. At that time, they were compelled to warn their younger brothers and sisters of the impending ecological disasters if we were to continue our ways. Now, for this solstice day, the Kogi priests have prepared another message to offer humanity at this pivotal moment in time in our human history. We give thanks to Jyoti Ma and the Fountain for their role in being a conduit for this message, which we hold in deep sacredness. Let us listen together. Oh, hang on, get the right video here. There we go.
Doi kasai ibuna gojo hanalasa. Nang gojo hanalasa chipen. Ni chin gojo gojo ka makan guak. Ka malusi makan guak itu kan napan ni. Ajibu amma ke zuke nasi ke amma ke zuke ka zuke. Aldengue ka ajibu amma ke zuke. Ini sanksi negati. Gino kane ingweha izwa. Abuaha de kana na. No nos natapana na gun, luego in quai que luego cha es nitinam. Kai ya que hoja. Ya ai hoja hani hoja ze tu. Asna kakajilu kan pangkanu kakahini. Hani malito ka. Akanawan kadatu kancha. Hini ai siya khashe ki iswa mahal khashino. Kan gue kebuah senak ada juga kan. Hanya kagak bahayanya ada tiap luka jakoi sini hanya nomang tutup ada yang sini hanya nomang tutup ada yang sini hanya nomang tutup kan ya ay gabang nauka ay ichwana goji wala kana bakanan kaki anong kamay agak sa anong kayo anong agak ko dai kay o kanadin do kan kay chui nang nagja haya kay naka Eki akan lagi cakap na ayah pun nak jadi manggu. Eki akan lagi cakap na kau ayah itu, nama kau panggu. Ay nama eki kan nama, ujika ba akan lagi kau cakap na nama aku ini apa sih itu, nama apa? Ini kau jual ni kau itu nak kana, kangga gaki dola. Ay na dola sekarang kau, akan. Cakap ya ini kau cina bukan. Engkau cina bukan tak apa. Hari ini dia ayah hari ini nami anak tu ni saya ni. Ini mereka tahu pasal kamaki. Jadi engkau bahasa ni tak bukan. Kau ingkar nak apa ni jika tak sahaja jika. Engkau ni nahang. Kau tahu ingkar nak izai nazai aduna nazgabangka. Kau tahu engkau nak kasarang ki mereka sia. Engkau nak sana kau cakap.
Wow. Wow. No words. Just so much gratitude. That was incredible. Thank you so much to Jyoti Ma for bringing the voices of our brothers and sisters, the Kogi, the Mamos, to us today on this solstice. We're so grateful for the sacredness, for those sacred messages to help reunite us, reconnect us with the earth that is us. We're so grateful that you are joining us on this program today, and we're looking forward to Chief Dwaine Perry and the Ramapough Lanape joining us, where we will be able to invite their ceremony and their shares on this solstice. And I'd love to call upon Linda Bjork, who is here with us in the Zoom room. Linda, if you're there, I'd love to invite you to turn on your video and to share. I know you have worked with our brothers and sisters in New York for a very long time, and you have so many stories to share, but just love to invite your voice, sister, on this solstice.
How wonderful. Thank you. And what a beautiful sharing on this lightest, brightest, and the day of hope, really, a day of light, the solstice. And I was with the Kogi people on Friday, and it was quite an extraordinary experience as a Westerner to be invited with the Ramapough Lanape tribe. And it really grounded, like something shifted when I was, so there is a presence. Like, let me first preface this. I was there, invited by Chief, and I'm a reverend, and so I was there as a reverend for praying powers, but also to connect this ceremony with a non-broadcasted, non-recorded event with the Mungo peoples and Ben Bowler and Joan Bowler and some descendants from the Mungo people in Australia. And coordinating the Zoom event suddenly turned interesting because there was no agenda. There was no one knew what was going to happen and when, because in their divination process, actually, I'm holding my phone now because my internet actually blew out. I just moved into a new home. And, but they had a way of tapping both of the mamos, their fingers. So they had a process of receiving messages from the spirit world. And they didn't know what was going to happen or when it was going to happen until they had received the message. So there was no planning, and it was just so good for me as a Zoom bound Westerner. We start at this point, and et cetera, to really be part of that and to just calm myself down. And I think we are, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we're experiencing a similar thing right now where we haven't really been connected yet with the people who are on the ground for the solstice ceremony, right? And so,
not completely, yeah.
Not completely.
I mean, we are. We know that we're all together. we
yes.
know this. That's the thing, and nothing needs to happen. That's a very different thought or place to be, where we're already doing what needs to be done, even though we don't see something happening. That's a very different, that's because our Western minds don't understand that. Like, let's hurry up and have this thing happen. And yet it is happening.
That's right. Yeah. And we said 12 o'clock noon. And it's like, no, we actually said that we were going to honor this solstice when the fire felt the strongest, which they thought would be around noon. Now, keep in mind that we thought that this ceremony would be broadcast at 5:37 a.m. this morning until about a week ago, when the spirits had spoken to those who receive it in the Ramapough tribe, saying, no, we're going to have a stronger fire, energetically speaking, I'm sure. And so it's going to be around noon. And one of the things that the Kogi people shared when the divination spirit messaging had happened was a story of the seed, and where did the seed come from? What is the origination of the seed? And of course, I wouldn't do the beautiful story any justice by retelling it, but it was a whole, um, uh, it felt like actually an intergalactic story of where the seed came from, and woven in with romantic drama and rejection. And it was just this beautiful story. And one of the things that really stayed with me was this likening our minds to the seed, where we need to pay attention to fire, and that fire actually destroys the seed. That's the one thing that actually destroys the seed. And the message from the Kogi Mamo was that it's the same thing with our minds. So we should be very mindful and careful about what we have in our minds, because fire thoughts, violent thoughts, thoughts that feel like fire will destroy your mind the same way it destroys the seeds.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really powerful. I feel compelled to invite us, if we have candle near us, that we light a candle together, everybody in the room and everybody who's watching the live stream, or if you have something that you could light right now. We honor the sacred fire.
Can you please light one for me too? I'm looking around, and my moving boxes are not revealing.
Yes,
where
I'm
my
lighting a
lights are.
candle for all of us and everybody here who's unable to light a candle. Even if you have a little battery lit candle, whatever might symbolize light, even if you want to draw a flame on a piece of paper to symbolize the sacred fire, even if you want to close your eyes, and if you're able to imagine the flame, eternal, the element of fire, the powers of fire, the gift, the blessing of fire, of light, the possibility of fire to alchemize, to transform. We honor the sacred fire. If you're in the Zoom room and you have lit a candle, you're invited to hold it up. I'm going to take us into gallery view. And I see a couple of flames. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. I think to remove our spotlights so that we can see those. Holding up our flames here. We are connected in fire.
I'm thinking about the theme for World Unity Week. Correct me if I have the phrasing wrong, but coming home together.
Yes.
And isn't it such a fire is such a symbol for getting the community together around a fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're coming
Gather
home to this fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And
powerful.
fire as an element is because it has destructive forces. All elements, if overdone, have destructive forces. I think that what we really call for in the coming home, especially the together part, is that when we are together, we're together with each other and with Earth, and really with everything, that there's a collaborative honoring of being fire and being on fire, where we do need to collaborate and balance with the rest of the elements, however that lands in you.
Yes. We
need the air, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we need the water
We need the
when we
air
get out
for
of
the
hand.
fire. We need
Yeah.
we need all the elements and honor them. Grateful for the solstice to honor the fire, the light that's in each of us as well.
Mm.
Mm.
And in many indigenous cultures, there are actually fire keepers. So that is a role, especially my global knowledge of indigenous peoples is slim, but I have spent time with indigenous Native American tribes, and a firekeeper is a role that most tribes have here.
Mm.
And it is extraordinary how the symbol of that fire, and to keep the fire going during the times and certain times that, again, these are messages from spirit saying, this is what's important. This is the time we carry over, perhaps from one portal closing to another opening, and the symbol of fire needs to be there. And sometimes we have to move the fire, and practically that's being done in a skillet. So the fire can move from one place to miles and miles away, where we continue with that same fire burning, which is amazing. So, and that may very well be part of the solstice ceremony today.
Beautiful, Linda. Thank you so much. Ben Bowler, I see that you've unmuted yourself, brother.
I just wanted to present that Kieran has entered the room. They were just
saw
having
that,
some
yeah.
private ceremony, but now Kieran's here. Yes. Hi, everybody.
Beautiful.
Welcome.
Can you make him a co-host, Ben, please? Hello, Kieran. Let's see. I'm not sure if you're able to. Let's see. Kieran's going to be joining us. The
Hello,
video's
everyone.
not. Hello.
Sorry for
Welcome.
the slight delay. Oh, thank you.
No
It's
worries.
good to see everyone.
We are right on time.
Yeah, the tribe is completing a portion that's almost done, but that they decided needed to not be filmed. But then we're gonna go right to where they are. They're just a few feet away, but they gave me permission. I can share some images of the mountain while we wait, if that would be okay with people.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much.
I'm
going to de-spotlight us, and we would love to hear anything that you're able to share. Thank you.
Yeah, they're completing a very simple tobacco ceremony, but which is this particular portion can't be filmed, but I think there's going to be some speaking and some presentations that we can share immediately after. So I'm just going to turn us here.
Okay. Where can you tell us where you are approximately?
So we're in the mountains, kind of between Mawa and Hilburn, New Jersey, which are two of the historic communities of the tribe. We're near the site that's called Split Rock. We're actually not at the very top of the mountain where that site is, but we're at a lower sort of almost natural pavilion area that the tribe uses for this particular ceremony, for the more public gatherings. I'm kind of looking east here, and were we at the top of the mountain, you'd actually be able to see the New York City skyline. It's a very incredible, dramatic site. The south is sort of the direction of the tribal building and the tribal center, and to the north is actually where you're walking to get up to the mountain if you were to go to the actual site itself. They just completed some special ceremonies with indigenous elders from Colombia who helped them to do some of their renewal ceremonies to help bring the site back into the balance and level of activation it needs. So there's been some very important things happening there this past week, and now we're doing the more public solstice ceremony for folks who'd like to join us. So, okay, I think we actually just got permission to go back, so I'll be right with you.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Wow. So I'm going to stop sharing
their offerings, and now we're going to be.
Can I continue to share your video, or are we?
Yeah, you're allowed to watch now. This is the more public portion.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I just want to be respectful.
Yes, of course. We appreciate that. So I believe people may actually be pilgrimaging up to the top, to that site that I mentioned, after making their offerings at the fire ceremony. So I'm going to double check, but if possible, I may process with you and can actually share that Split Rock site with you. Yeah, so this whole, yes, this whole region of the mountain is really a complex of different ceremonial stones and effigies, some of them associated with turtles and with water. And it's also associated with the Ramapough Lanape Nation's creation stories. Like many tribes, they have emergent stories kind of coming out of the earth at certain points. You can see some of these beautiful stones here. Scientists say they may have been left by glaciers, but there's also some evidence that they were placed in unique ways, facing unique directions. So it is also possible there were some human efforts to modify this site. We actually have a number of archaeologists and geologists who've been working with the tribe to document and better understand some of the meanings of this place. So the Ramapough are one of the original people of this area, but they also have other indigenous communities and neighbors they've long had a history of working with and welcoming on their land. I believe we had somebody here from the Mexica community, which is those who kind of come from the Aztec tradition. They also have a relationship with people from the Taino, the Caribbean region, and also the Haudenosaunee, or the more commonly known but lesser preferred name of the Iroquois Nation, which is actually a confederacy that's north of us and has been working more closely with the Ramapough in recent years to help them reclaim a lot of their cultural and ceremonial education. We also would request our prayers, the chief of one of the closest relatives of the Ramapough, who are people, the Munsee Delaware Nation, who are actually those of their common tribal group that actually had to leave after the American Revolution and went up to Canada. They just lost their chief, Mark Peters, who is a very beloved historian and elder. So we'd encourage prayers for him as well and his family. He and some of the language teachers from his nation have been coming down to spend time in this place for a number of years, helped bring the language back here, and also help their youth and their families reconnect with these mountains, which is part of their ancestry as well. So I'm going to double check, but I'm going to see if I can take us up to the top of the mountain now.
Thank you.
I know this doesn't look like much of a hike, but there's a lot of huffing and puffing because it's actually pretty steep. And everybody has to be careful as we walk up. And yes, Joni Carley is here. Reverend Dr. Joni Carley is here. And we did that hike. Last year we were together, Joni. And it is, you go through several almost like stations where you also get, of course, smudged, cleansed, and on the way up to the mountain. It's a beautiful experience.
Okay, we actually have Al here, who's one of the keepers. We're very close. Got permission to go up to the top as well. So
yeah, don't. Although I'm wearing all white, don't get me confused with the Kogi. They recommended that we wear white when we come up here, so we're just following the recommendations of some very good teachers here. So I just want to make sure you all don't get me confused with the Kogi people there.
We're connected with an international solstice gathering for this portion. So thank you. Yeah, the Kogi are some of those indigenous Mamos, who are spiritual leaders from what we call today Colombia, but they're actually a confederacy of 4 different nations down there that lives on a sacred mountain, and we're able to move up into the mountains and preserve their culture in some unique ways in their spiritual traditions. And they now travel around the world to different indigenous communities that are looking for help restoring their sacred sites, as well as teaching people of all ancestries, important lessons about living in balance with the earth and things that we need to start doing better, because their visions have instructed them in a number of the things that have been getting worse in recent years, with climate and things being out of balance. So we were very blessed to have them with us. And we had 4 days of intense ceremony on the mountaintop. And then on Saturday, they had a thank you ceremony that was more open to the public. And there may be some video available of that at some point. I'm not entirely sure the plans, but that would be something we'd be happy to share if we have permission.
That's beautiful.
Today is sort of the first usual ceremony, which the tribe has always done, but we're returning to the site after those special renewal ceremonies, which is very special. So kind of reactivating things
Kieran,
and trying to better understand the site.
as we're so blessed to see this sacred land and be blessed by the humans that are there that are holding such powerful intentions, I wonder if there is an intention that we all can hold that is being held upon that mountain for those of us that are watching online and those of us that are here in the Zoom room, that we can align intentions in a similar spirit or the same spirit, the one spirit, that we can all just hold that space together. If there's something that you would like to evoke or that they would like to evoke from us.
Okay. People are making their way up, so I could check with, the chief and some of the elders get up there.
Yes.
As I noted, there have been some recent deaths of elders, so that's always important.
Yes.
One of the things we learned this past week is that the site has a particular association with music and musical instruments. So some of their long-term plans are to begin bringing more music to this site to honor it. So it's a beautiful discovery that we've kind of had thanks to the Mamos who came to spend time with us. So yes, I'll let you know. Thank you for asking.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can see these beautiful rocks that the geologists say were scraped by glaciers. This whole area would have been under several miles of ice going straight out into the Atlantic Ocean. And traditionally, the Lenape are the people between the two rivers, what we call the Hudson River. But its actual proper name is the Mehicantuck, or the river that flows in both directions because of the tides. And we also have the Delaware River, which is to the west. And this, yes, I know, I didn't want to be in your way, so.
Oh, no, I would love to hear you.
Okay, well, thank you, yeah.
So.
I didn't want to interrupt her. So yes, actually the Mehicantuck is, people may have heard of the Mexicans. That's a common related group. It's a little bit to the north of Lenape people. And they are also derive their name from that river. So these are what people loosely call the Algonquin nations language groups. And then to the north, you have the Haudenosaunee or the Iroquois, which are a different group, but historically have had relations that they've been renewing in recent years, to be closer and to be able to support each other on various issues about the environment, about the culture, as well as helping to return songs and stories and ceremonies to each other in areas. Many of the indigenous people of the Northeast had to leave objects or songs and stories behind when they were forced out of an area. So in recent years, there's been attempts by different communities to work together to help return things where they should be and to honor those ancient relationships that were trying to help nations protect each other in times of persecution. As some may be aware, in the United States, although we talk about religious freedom, Native American religions were actually uniquely outlawed until 1978, when they had to pass a special law in Congress. So the Ramapough and many of others have been quietly honoring these places for, thousands of years, but it's only been in recent decades, even here in the US, that they've been able to actually be safe to share things with the public and not worry about their rights being persecuted. So. And they've been grateful that the last couple of years, there have been people with many different faiths, Christians, Jews, Buddhists, Muslims who've come out to support them on various concerns around protecting their land and their rights to practice their religion. So there's been a lot of positive things happening here, in spite of, unfortunately, also some ongoing legal issues, which are starting to improve here. We're almost going to enter the site, so I'm going to be a little quieter, but the last good news is the site was actually formally is in the process of being returned. The Rockland County, New York legislature voted to give 53 acres of it back, which include this site, which when they were able to make them aware of it. It's going to be sold possibly for real estate, but the tribe was able to intervene with the help of many allies, and so they're in the process of it being returned, and also looking towards the future and envisioning ways they can share it, bring medicines and sacred plants to the land, and other ways to educate the public and respectfully share things they choose to share, as well as be able to use it more intensively for their own private and community needs. So okay, so as we walk up here, there's beautiful blueberry bushes, which is one of the plants that our bears love out here. And actually they just started to ripen to blue as we finished the ceremonies last week, which was very beautiful. And as you look to this is looking directly east. It's a little bit hazy, but directly ahead of me on the skyline there, that's Manhattan, which is also a Lenape name. That's the island of New York City. And there's a small building with a silver roof in the center too, a tower. That's actually also historically one of the tribe's sites in the valley. It was later turned into the Ford Motor Plant and a Sharps building, but historically they've also had some ceremonial stones and sites there as well that unfortunately were lost. There is unfortunately a history of environmental racism in these mountains because the Ford Car Company was involved in a Superfund site that dumped lead paint throughout these mountains and has caused a lot of harm to the community. So there's ongoing efforts led by the Ramapough and other groups to try to force the governments and the companies to clean that up. But unfortunately, there's still a lot of cancer and challenges they're facing. So this is the split rock itself. There has unfortunately been some recent vandalism of a flag painted on it. They're in the process of cleaning up. It was not respectful. As you come around, the stone is actually split in the middle, and behind it there's another stone that when you are there on certain times of the year, the light will actually come through on the winter solstice, much like Newgrange and Stonehenge. So this site is actually a calendar that lets you know what time of year it is. I'm just going to briefly show you the actual split in the rock before we return to where the group is nearby. So there's actually a split. There's some logs are put in for people to climb up, but traditionally it would have just been open. And the light actually comes through certain times of the year, especially the winter solstice, and shines directly on this rock like a laser. I've been up there a few times to see it. It's incredibly special. And one of the Native American communities live very lightly on the land, but there actually have been significantly documented rock shelters throughout this region as well, which is one of the ways we know of the places that were used most intensively, both for living and also seasonally for hunting. And some of the historic Ramapough cabins and ruins were actually built near those rock shelters, that people continued to inhabit the same place, even as Europeans moved in and they had new technology. Okay, so Aaron Davis, who's one of the tribe's leaders and keepers of this site, is just sharing some thoughts, and I'll see if we can listen in.
Thank you.
Thank you. He's actually talking about the pollution from the Ford Company, some of the ongoing efforts to clean it up. just gonna sneak around here. Excuse me. Sorry. Just gonna put through here so we can hear people. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Actually was so toxic this material that they couldn't, some of it they couldn't bury. Did not ship can. Put it out. Probably never. It's actually not affecting our people, but we have Wingwood right next to our. Everything is, it's not. I would. No way. Like Newark just replaced their pipes. Get the lead out. Things not.
What do they call it?
The only super fund in the country, right? They're super fund, they're cleaned up, then redeclared.
Yeah, chief man right now, but not that people Ringwood live near the Superfund, they live within the Superfund.
Oh.
Darren was saying that those toxic, when they cleaned up first time about 2 tennis court size areas of toxic waste they declared to clean. Darren was saying the first Superfund site that was declared cleaned up and relisted. And then when they were doing more extensive cleanup, they were taking the waste to lands or reserve in Canada, and land was so toxic they started contact, and so they were getting the same kind of illness. Now the EPA is saying that they're putting a cap on it. Actually, that's a term of art they call it a cap, where they put a cover over it. They're saying it's cleaned up and if people are living there, it's okay because that's what we're dealing with. US EPA is saying that right now. It's okay, you live there. Genocide before.
Yeah.
You have DuPont, you got corporations.
They had a really excellent series called Toxic Legacy by Dan Berry, best report. He's the one that uncovered the 8th born. And so they had interactive on there with print. One day found out that not only had they site down the website, they destroyed the source material.
Wow.
Destroyed the source material, record. Destroyed it. And I was wondering why would they do that? And later on, it came up with a fairy tale of the captain thing. Okay. What genocide looks like now. Barry calls it quiet genocide. just trying to get appearance good and positive. This kind of meditate on the fact that this is a shadow of the fact that we need clean water, we need clean air, and this is something that we all share together. We not only just human beings, but other people. We all need water. So that what we're talking about is the shadow that's cast by the fact that too many of us don't realize the debt that we have to our Mother Earth. By just in our consciousness coming up here today, all of us here, grounding our thoughts in this good way about having the good water, that brings us back from these kinds of horror stories to a good way. So thank you all for coming in a good way.
Aaron, would you like to share with us about something to amplify our efforts at the land trust?
Yeah, well, we're working on a website just for the land trust. Get that maybe back to the guys' email information before you leave. Like I said, we're planning on buying a farm. One of our plans that already have a farm in but we want one in each community. The GMOs, the chemicals they put in the foods now, and all that type of stuff is not for us. It's not good. It's not good food for the soul. Whatever you eat. So we want to do that. Plus, we set the land trust for split rock for farming, and also keep our ceremonial grounds that we have throughout that people don't even know about yet. But then it'll be harder to buy. But we're working on it, and our whole effort is to respect Mother Earth. We're so close. Like I said, we're very lucky that this stuff is still here, being so close to Patterson, to New York City, to Newark, stuff like that. Be able to, really come in and save it, because people would want to build a house on here, or whatever. It's here way before actually we had rocks are the oldest things on Earth. Some say they talk to you, have the oldest knowledge, but you know how to communicate. I'm trying. I just get a vibe. It's a mixed communication. But we like to have a ceremony with all different people from all over the globe. You have to realize that we're all one creator is on one earth, and we got to take care of stick together, because there's forces out there that really don't. And you guys I know you guys are there, so I'm preaching to the choir.
We were asked by some of our guests, and it sounds like you're already giving us some good ones, but if there are any particular intentions or prayers that people who are watching around the world through this solstice gathering can also be aware of.
Your summer solstice for us is the longest day of the year. The way the stars are aligned, and it's the beginning of summer. We had our spring where, just the cold goes away and things start to bud. And it's summer, everything starts to grow in a beautiful way, and then you got the fall where you do your harvest and stuff like that. But if people want to know what they want, they should pray for the water, pray for Mother Earth, pray for the sky, and then, once those are things are taken care of, Mother will take care of us. But as long as we abuse these things and don't have respect for Mother Earth and the birds and the trees and the animals, we're probably going to have a lot of calamities. And we'll all sit back and wonder why is this happening? Why is this happening? Because all of our ancestors from all over all the indigenous people, and everybody at one point, everybody's indigenous somewhere. We all had our regular practice that we did. We were in tune with nature for thousands of years, and then we lost it, and we into gold and money, power, and things that can't sustain.
Well, we have some water protectors with us that were at Standing Rock, and the meditation there is Mini Wachoni. water is life. That's something that definitely said, realized in every language. For the Muncie language, Lehman Man there, I asked him like how we would say that in our Muncie language. He didn't even, Mr. B said, Mbi Mbumasa Wakana. Basically, we walk in the ways of water. We are water. Most of the time I've heard it say that 60-70% of our bodies are water. I was talking to a man from the Netherlands there who was saying if you look at the fact that we're made up of molecules, every molecule has a relationship with water, so it might be 95, 99% of our body's water. So we are water. So if we keep our water good and in a good, healthy way, then we ourselves can seem to be good and healthy. If we pollute our water, then we're basically polluting ourselves. So, water is life. Lucien Wabanonak of the Anishinaabe people there in Canada took it a step further. He said, water is life because water gives life. And they're facing flooding, or their lands have been flooded by Hydro-Quebec there for the dams for electric. So we got to be really careful where we get our energy from. I mean, hydro sounds clean, but when you see how some of these mega dams are constructed and the lands that they flood and actually in the end, how that contributes to greenhouse gases, you see it's really dirty as well. So we just got to be very careful about how we use our energy on an individual level and societal level as well. Mini Wachoni is not just water's life, not just life there in Yoder, life everywhere on the planet.
Yeah. People think they can use the water filter to get all that stuff out. Again, but it also getting out minerals that are in your water, your spring water. That's how your body has certain reactions that have in you got to filter your water. You're taking all that stuff out. You're just giving it flow.
That reminds me when we were down on the land there. I don't know why people always want to throw other people in jail when there's a conflict. I mean, I especially don't like when I'm the target of it. But so I talked to one of the homeowners there who seemed to be like one of the good guys there, and his attitude was, you guys are destroying our property value. I'm thinking to myself, well, I mean, if you have bad water, isn't that going to not be good for your property too? But I just, he wasn't thinking like that. So, and this is in the movie American Native. He says, and one day, we might want to sell our house and move away, and then our property will be less. And as you can see here, we as Ramapough people, we don't think that way. Like, if we leave here, then we are going to cease to be who we are. I mean, we are of this land. So the idea of holding the land for one generation and then just selling it, moving halfway across the world, I mean, that seems to be a norm in this region. But that's for us as Ramapough, that we would cease to be who we are as a community. But yeah, he was saying exactly what Aaron was saying. I told him, I said, look, we're here for water protection. I mean, we're water protected, to be honest with you, but we're here to, for the health of the water. And he was like saying, he said exactly what Aaron said. He says, well, I think he was a billionaire. He says, well, I get clean water. I can get my own clean water. I'm just thinking, it's not like water's over here and then it's not connected to water over there. It's all connected. But bottom line, he just wanted to throw me in jail. So. Sure.
Right? Just it's very simple. That's what it was. That we are here, not here. That we have to be here and protect the water. From green, so shall the water. As the blueberries turn to blue from green, so shall the water turn from dirt. So let's find that. As the blueberries turn to blue from green, so shall the water turn from dirt. As the blueberries turn to blue from green, so shall the waters turn from dirty to dust. As the people turn back from greed, so our planet shall live in peace. As the people turn to love from greed, our planet shall live. It's still flowing, so the one words are a little bit, but it'll find its way. But this is our summer solstice. This is the prayer of the mountain, actually, because the blueberries are turning now, and that's what the prayer of this mountain is. We are. The prayer is active, and we're moving with it. So actually, I want to invite us. I'm going to get up a little bit and we're just going to move our bodies with this prayer. So maybe we'll make a little circle carefully. Or just move the prayer through your body and then we'll express that together a little bit. And I might mess up the word, but don't let that stop you. Express our gratitude. As the blueberries from green, so shall the waters turn from dirty to clean. Just as the blueberries turn to blue from green, so shall the waters turn from dirty to clean. So, and I just invite every sound, movement, anything that wants to just come through you, doesn't have to be English or the right word. Just as the blueberries turn from blue to green, so shall the waters turn from dirty to clean. Just as the blueberries turn to blue from green, so shall the waters turn from dirty to clean. Just as the people from greed turn to love from greed, so our planet shall spin in peace. And just as the people turn to love from greed, so shall our planet spin in peace. So let's go to this place. Move around a little bit. I feel like we need to move this. Just as the so shall the waters as so shall the waters dirty to be. As the blueberries turn from pearls to green, so shall the waters as the blueberries turn from green, so shall the waters turn from dirty to clean. Na 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 na.
Walk around, enjoy the trees, enjoy the rock. Yes. There's a little shrubbery that grows in the lawn. But, they're a native plant, but they're
Thank you.
yeah.
People are just taking some time to walk around the land. One of the things we did this past week was they built a new fire ring a little bit further from the stone, based on some of the guidance we had from some of the mamos, the spiritual leaders that we were blessed to have with us. As you see up here, there's almost multiple rings of stones circling out. It's almost like a natural amphitheater up here on the mountain. And the site that they did the earlier prayers at, when I first got on video, that was a similar site, but a little lower down the mountain, kind of like a little miniature amphitheater. So this is looking to the east towards New York City, as I showed in the beginning. And on less hazy days, you can actually see the skyline very clearly. Looking south towards the Split Rock and Tribal Center, where we gathered before we came up here this morning. Looking to the west towards the Delaware River, which is the western border of the Greater Lenape people, and to the north. The Ramapough actually are primarily spread through at least 3 counties of Bergen County, New Jersey, Rockland, and Orange counties, New York. They're one of the 3 state recognized tribes of New Jersey, but they've been still trying in recent years to get greater recognition in New York State. In the United States, various states have different processes, and some are more open to acknowledging their traditional peoples as others. The tribes that have been fortunate enough to be federally recognized tend to have the most protections and the easiest time getting reservations that are formal set aside land, but many of these communities have just as much history, but have had a difficult time with the legal system, because of the history of how our governments don't like to recognize our indigenous people. And there is a long legacy of racism, up in these mountains. Many of the indigenous peoples of the Northeast, did take in both immigrants and slaves, especially those who were fleeing from slavery and other injustices. But as a result, there have been attempts to claim, well, they're mixed, so they're not really Native American anymore. And unfortunately, there's a lot of ugly history around that we've been working to correct in recent years. And there's been some beautiful work, including some websites and videos they've been sharing, just looking at how incredible their genealogy is, as well as land acknowledgements with local governments in a number of communities. There was one earlier this year in Stamford, Connecticut, where some of our friends live. It actually traces one of their specific chiefs who began there, sold some land to the town, and then moved here to merge with relatives who were already in these mountains. So like many indigenous communities that have survived, they took in people from different places, but who were, their family and one people. We also have a number of years in Ulster County, New York. One of the clan chiefs, Vincent Mann, who Al was talking about, who does a lot of work with the water and the cleanup. He's also been leading groups of people to meet with their county clerk every year, also around this time of year. And they do a treaty renewal ceremony where they actually are given gifts and things that were supposed to be paid to the tribes, since the time the Dutch were here, before even the English. And their county clerk has a pipe that she keeps that, as part of that commitment that she was gifted by the tribe, that particular government is trying to be better responsible to the history and to remembering the promises that were made in the past, so we can move together better in the future as well. So
Kieran, thank you so much. This has been such a deep, sacred connection to be there with you through your presence there and sharing and bringing us in. Really extraordinary. We're so grateful. Thank you. Thank you for your beautiful heart and sharing, presencing these things for our Ramapough Lanape relatives. We're so grateful. Grateful to you. We're grateful to the land. Grateful to our brothers and sisters there who are doing this sacred work. It's extraordinary.
And if people would like to, the word for thank you in Lenape is anashik. So that's something they said at the end of the ceremony a little further down. Sometimes people say it 4 times at the end of a ceremony, for the 4 directions. So anashik, anashik, anashik.
Anashik.
Also say huat anashik, which means big thank you, a great thank you. So thank you all for being here. We're happy to stay on for a bit. I think we're kind of a little bit more free time now. People are just taking some time to sit in silence and reflect on different corners of the land here. But we also understand if you have other ceremonies you need to get to as well. So.
No, we're here with you, and we're here for this. So it's been just so powerful and so beautiful. Have all of our family here in our Zoom room here, and grateful.
Yeah, I was born in the northern end of the Ramapough territory, up in Woodbury, Monroe, New York, which is actually where the river that flows through this valley that shares their name started. And my family was involved in environmental work on that end. We had another chemical plant that unfortunately we're still fighting to get cleaned up properly. But my mom told me when she was involved in town government, we share the same water, and there's still a Native American community down there. You should reach out to them at some point. So I was grateful to do that in years after I returned from Lakota Territory, which are the same people involved in Standing Rock. So there's been a lot of beautiful connections in recent years of nations coming together and sharing each other, and allies being more aware and able to enter in respectful ways to help in this work, because we all share this water, we share this air. We're not going to survive and take care of each other. So
yes, we share this time now of possibility for healing and restoration, and thank you. I wonder if there is a shot that you might bring us to that we can just hold in silence in sacred prayer. As I'm not sure the name of, I know Owl, but I'm not sure of the relative who was sharing what the prayer could be with the question that you asked him. And I didn't catch his name, who was speaking that we could hear. But
the gentleman was Aaron Davis. He's another leader with the tribe, works with Owl and with Chief Perry, who was doing the ceremonies earlier. So Aaron Davis is his.
He had asked that we could, or he's responded that we could pray for the water, for Mother Earth, and for the sky. So I wonder if we could find a visual for us that we could all hold those prayers and intentions with and for the Ramapough Lanape and for all of humanity.
Let's see if I can find a spot where you can see the rock, but also the land around it. Give me a moment.
Thank you. We'll remain in silence.
Of course. And many people here are doing similarly. They just found spots to reflect and be present on the land. Thank you.
Not as big as the one we like. Here. Yeah, we might as well make sure we catch a ride. There's a lot of hills.
Anushik, 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 Anushik. Profound gratitude. Dear Karen, if you or Al would like to say anything finally before we close, and Aaron as well, Al and I are messaging each other, so it may be that Al and Aaron would like to share something. So I think they might find you. You're muted, Kieran, if you're talking. Hello, Brother Owl. Not sure if we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Welcome, welcome. Anushik, 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 Anushik. So much gratitude to you, brother. Thank you.
Much gratitude to you guys as well.
Hmm. Hmm. Is there anything you'd like to share?
Word of thanks for you all being a part of this this circle here. It's kind of strange new world, the ceremony and the virtual world. And I know with the Mamos, it was quite extraordinary that we had our ceremony and they were they were okay with the film on it. But yeah, I mean this is a good day. I mean, I think any day that we come together for the water and with the water is a good day. So obviously we're going through some very heavy times on the planet, with these wars and what's going on. But the sun did come up today again, and I think this helps us get grounded and going forward in a good positive way. So I got your message that you like some words for closing. Is that what I understand?
If you'd like to, it's a gentle invitation. We've been grateful to be in the silence with you all for about 12 minutes. It's been beautiful. I could stay here all day. I don't know how much battery Kieran has. But
Well, that's why he's handling the videography, because he's like a Boy Scout that's grown up. You know, he seems he's scared about it most of the time here. So what I'll do is, I'm not sure what they want to do up there on the mountain. I'm here
Okay.
at the base of our sacred woods here. Two things. I'll see if I can find one of our maple trees here. We have well, here's one. We have a maple tree here, and our word for maple in our Munsee language is Asuna-minji, which means asun is our word for stone. So stone tree. So in our language, it reflects the fact that I didn't really notice at the time, but the maple tree is one of the hardest of what they call the hardwoods. So our language is really is an expression of the essence of what's here in the natural world. So I'll just close with a brief prayer in Munsee. Anashik Kishalamokwang, Anashik Hwachi Manitou, Elamiliang, Kakanai Ki, Walk Mbi, Walk Kashung, Walk Tendao, Anashik. And the translation in English would be, thank you from whose thoughts we arose, and thank you who created us from thought. Thank you, Great Spirit. I prefer the term great energy, to be honest with you. I think physics is a better translation in English, because when Einstein says E is equal to mc squared, that's equivalence of energy and matter. So the ancestors would say that all the world here has a Manitou. The trees here have Manitou. The stones have Manitou. The whole world has spirit. So thank you, Great Spirit, Elamiliang, for giving us Kakanaki, Mother Earth, Mbi, water, Kashung, wind, Tendao, fire. So that would be my closing prayer, and just to thank all of you all for bearing with us and our technical difficulties as we try to manage this we look at it as matter and spirit, but it's all interconnected. But this intersection of matter and spirit. So thank you all for that. Mashik.
Thank you so much, Al. I feel like we're all right on time. Really, really so beautiful. Such a sacred experience this past time together here, and we're so grateful for this connection and for how we are using Zoom in such a sacred way to unite humanity, to amplify the voices of stories that we don't hear, that we need, that are coming, that are restorative, that are healing. So grateful to you, Al, and to all of our Ramapough Lanape relatives for the work that you're doing for restoration, for healing, for justice, for the earth, and for the beautiful way that you invite our curiosity and our learning, that we grow our own hearts and our own actions and our own thinking towards healing as well. So thank you for blessing us and for your powerful, uplifting ways. It's such an honor. I want to thank everybody in the Zoom room. I want to thank everybody, thank Kieran, thank everybody at Split Rock who's holding this sacred space today. And Al, unless Erin would like to share anything, there are a few logistical human things about World Unity Week that I feel privileged and responsible to share with everyone as we're still continuing our live stream, to make sure that people continue to join us throughout the next week for World Unity Week. And so just let me know, Al, if Erin would like to share anything, but we're still here. Okay, thank you.
Send a message to Karen Conway there. I know Karen's on, so I'll just let Karen have the last.
Okay.
Last
All right.
there.
Beautiful.
So,
yeah, I think he just left,
Karen,
but he'll be back. He'll be back.
well, maybe that's a sign that we can close out. I don't know. I mean, how are we doing on time here?
We're fine. We're completely fine. We're on your time.
But, well, I don't know. Does anyone have any questions or thoughts or anything? Or I don't know.
Yeah, we haven't opened it up to our room yet. It's incredible. We can do that. We could take a couple of comments if you want to be here for that, Owl. I want to respect what you're doing as well. So if anybody would like to share a brief reflection, please raise your virtual hand and bring you forth. See a couple of people with flames. Al, some people lit candles before you all connected visually with us. So we're
Good. Well, thank you
connecting.
for that.
So grateful. It's so beautiful just to be in stillness, actually. Nobody's raised their hand, and I understand why. It's just beautiful just to share this still space.
Do we want to take a photo picture?
We just
Hi,
had a little group
Karen.
picture, so I had to sign off for a second. I think we're going to start making our way down the mountain, so I might
Okay.
continue showing video for a little bit if people would like.
Okay.
But,
Thank you so
it's
much.
nice to be with
It's
all of you.
beautiful. We wanted to make sure that if Erin, I'm not sure if Erin has any, Al did a beautiful closing blessing. We wanted to see if Erin or if you would like to share any final words. You're invited
Final word,
to
Aaron?
that as well, Karen.
No, I think he's good. But
Okay, what about you?
yeah, I just like to thank everybody for being here, and thank you for remembering these places, and just encourage people to be mindful of ways to be in solidarity in their daily lives. Because that's the important. We come to these sacred places, and then what's the work we have to do in the world? And I'm sure many of you are already in that process, but we're grateful for your presence and thank you. As we say in many native languages, there's not really a word for goodbye. We just say see you later or see you next time. So in Lenape, that's Lepichkanawa. So Lepichkanawa, everybody.
Lepichkanawa. Karen, thank you so much. So much love, brother. So much
Thank you all.
gratitude.
Yeah.
Thank
And if
you.
you want to follow some events we do too, I'm sure you guys have your own Facebook, but there's also a Split Rock, split 2 words rock, which is the name of this site. Prayer Camp is our Facebook page as well, where we share a lot of events throughout the year and pictures. We have gardens and cleanups on the mountains. So, you're always welcome to follow that too if people would like. We have a mailing list too for
Wonderful.
special events.
I will find that link and share it in the chat if somebody else doesn't beat me to it. So we'll make sure. Thank you so much. It's been such an incredible experience to bring the mountain to us, to bring Split Rock to us, where we are and our sacred places all over Mother Earth. What an incredible moment. So grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to keep your video going while I share some things to help people with World Unity Week, because we have our live stream going right now. So thank you so much.
I'll just show if you want to watch the path down the mountain, I'll kind of keep it silenced, but
okay,
more than
beautiful.
watching.
Beautiful. Thank you. Mm. 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 As we make our descent down from Split Rock and come back. Mm. Mm. Perhaps Kieran will be able to turn his video on again in a moment. I will share a few things. Just so grateful to everybody for being here for this, and for those of you watching us on the live stream, on the one stream, and for those of you who are watching us in the future, which will be your now, you're watching the recording. We're so grateful for your sacred presence during this experience together. And my job with World Unity Week is to try to help everybody find the things that you're curious about with as little challenge as possible. And so we have designed a website to help you navigate World Unity Week. And this is our 3rd year together doing this. And we've learned a lot of things from all of you and have changed a lot of things so that hopefully the navigation is a lot easier. And so, Kieran, did you want to say anything? I see you're back on.
Oh, yes. No, I was just finding our link for you, but feel free to continue. I'm just
Great.
going
Oh,
to
great,
video.
great. Awesome. Thank you. So if you want to at some point share the video out, you can. I have you spotlit, so thank you. So whew. So I'm going to share my screen with you all. And for those of you that are new to World Unity Week, you can go to worldunityweek.org, which is our website. Today is day 4 of World Unity Week. We have 8 days. We go through Saturday. And we have so many incredible programs that team up. Our conversion stream stewards, event hosts, and presenters have been working on for months, some probably since last year, actually. And we have on this website, you can register by scrolling down here and click register, and you'll begin to receive gentle invitations each day to different events throughout the week. So that's one way to get some help into your inbox. You can also come here and you can click schedule and click all events. I'm going to tell you about a couple of events that we have today, but when you click all events, this is an emergent calendar. There are still events being added. We have a couple hundred events that are happening this week across 22 different Zoom rooms. And we want to make it as easy as possible for you to join us, just like those who've joined us in room 1 right now for this experience. So you come out to this website and you can, if you know the name of the convergence room, you can click, or if you're curious to see all of the names of our convergence rooms. Convergence rooms are associated with a Zoom room where programs are offered. Right now we're streaming from room 1. So I'm going to show you a couple of programs that we have today in room 1. So you click on the room 1 schedule and it will show you many, probably not all yet, because we're still, like I said, this is an emergent calendar, have all of these events today. And we have plenaries twice a day honoring the whole globe, so that hopefully one of the times will work for your schedule where you are in the world, from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. each day and 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Tonight we have this beautiful plenary with Hereditary Chief Phil Lane Jr. and Angak Kor Squawk and Mindahi Bastira. And apologies if I am not honoring the pronunciation of your name. Please know my heart has great intention and love. And we will have an opening prayer from an amazing Indigenous wisdom keeper named Dayani Yawu in this program as well. This is Restoring Right Relationship with Fire at 6 p.m. Eastern. And we list all of our times in Eastern, but when you look at the calendar, it will appear in your time zone. I'm on the Eastern time zone, so you're seeing 6 o'clock tonight Eastern. Come back to room 1 for our plenary. And then this has been an exciting invitation too, that we're really, I think this is the first time we're talking about it. We're having a community reflection hour today. So I'm going to click on this event at 7 p.m. Eastern here in room 1 after the fire plenary. We're going to have an hour where we invite your voices. So join us. We're going to reflect on this ceremony that we had. We're going to reflect on the day. We're going to reflect on the convergence for the past few days. So come and join us here in this Zoom room. And so again, you have the details. When you click on the event card, you have the details here. You have the date, you have the time. You also have the Zoom link. So if you're not in a current Zoom link, you can click on this and it will launch from your browser or from your phone and take you into the Zoom room associated with the event. You can also click back here to go to the Room 1 list of all the things that are happening in Room 1. So that is a very basic introduction to the navigation of our website. You can also find us on Facebook. World Unity Week is on Facebook. It's facebook.com/World Unity Week. So we're really grateful for your navigation. And one final thing that I'll share is we have this room called the Hub. Share my screen again. I'm going to show you how you can get there. So the Hub, if you're new to World Unity Week or you're old to World Unity Week, but you need help getting around, what you're going to do is you're going to go to World Unity Week and then click One World. You're going to see our One World map. This map is astonishing. It's so beautiful. It's a co-creative visual depiction of the one world that we are creating here together, created visually by Kara Stonehouse, the Hague Center. And each of these are the spaces that, that contain different convergence rooms. If you go to the Sacred Giving Tree, you'll see a little mushroom here that says the Hub. If you click on that, it's going to give you a link to the Hub. Now, the Hub stands for Here You Belong. It is a Zoom room devoted, created by us for answering all the questions. If something's not working, if you're a presenter and something's not happening right, or you need an answer for something, you can go to the Hub. If you're brand new to World Unity Week and you just don't know where to start, you just want to talk with someone, a real person, no answering machine, come to the Hub. We have some amazing Hub holders that are hanging out there literally around the clock. And we'd love you to join us in the Hub. And you can click this link and it'll take you to a Trello board with the Zoom link right here. You'll see the meeting ID, but you can click that and join us right in the Hub. So we're really grateful. Please join us now through Saturday. We have some amazing events that are happening across so many rooms, and we just want to help you find the things that you're curious about, the things that would really help your heart be more animated during World Unity Week. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to take off my camera now and just enjoy Kieran's view as we continue the descent down from Split Rock with the Ramapough Lanape. Thank you all for joining us. May peace prevail on earth. Anushik, 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 Anushik.
Thank you, everyone. We're almost to the bottom, so I may stop sharing in a few minutes so I can safely drive, but it was a blessing to be with all of you and hope this tradition can continue. So
Thank you, Kieran.
I was trying to see if I could show you one before I sign off. We have beautiful sassafras trees all over up here. And some of the elders still make a wonderful Native American tea from that plant. So it's a lot of good medicine up here, along with the blueberries, which we spoke of earlier. They actually have big jugs of it they make for the workers who come to that Three Sisters farm that our Turtle Clan chief mentioned and his wife care for that they mentioned earlier. So still a lot of connections to these ancient plants and helping people appreciate things right under our feet. Here's our sassafras relative. It's a beautiful little tree that looks like it has mittens. You can see like there's one leaf, there's another, and there's a lopsided mitten too. It's one of the only trees that has 3 different kinds of leaves. So that's how you can recognize them. It's a wonderful little plant. They also make a very good sumac tea as well. These beautiful red berries that you get certain times of the year. So. And there's lots of beautiful oak trees here, which is very significant to me personally, so I was able to make pilgrimage to connect with some of the sacred sites in Ireland. People may know of Bridget of Kildare. She's one of the Irish saints, and some say connected to older beings that share the same name. So there's a lot of beauty in the trees that connect us around the world. I think that's wonderful to be with all. Thank you for remembering us and our Ramapough neighbors in your prayers. And have a wonderful week.
Thank you, Kieran. Thank you. So beautiful, brother. Mm. Mm. Blessings. Mm. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. This was going to conclude our live stream for our solstice ceremony with the Ramapough Lanape. We're so grateful that you are here with us, and we hope you will come back into more Zoom rooms to have these shared experiences together. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.